Hi guys, this is Scott Thatcher from the Statistics Department at Truman with a short video on getting up and running using Pig and Hadoop on the View2 servers. So as you know, the Fire server had a file system crash that basically crashed the server sometime over the last bit of time here. So what I'm going to show you is what I've set up over the last couple days on View2 that should, I think, at least give you enough to actually be able to do the homework. So access to Pig and Hadoop, at least on the local file system. So this isn't probably the best and most awesome educational setup for Hadoop and for Pig, but again, it's what I could do with the access I have on computers I have for free over the long weekend here. So first thing you'll want is to get the data, and your instructor might have made this available to you on Blackboard at some point. If not, you can get it from the assignment link that goes to the original data file. So I'm going to log into Blackboard here. And I only have access to the Sandbox course, so this isn't your actual Blackboard page. I assume your actual Blackboard course looks similar to this, but at least in the one I have access to under Module 6 here, we've got links to way down here at the bottom somewhere. There we go. We've got links to the source of these data sets. So the Movie Lens data sets, I'm going to click on this, open it up in a new window, and then I'm looking for the 100K data set. I think that's the one that's referenced in your homework, so I just searched for 100K and here it is. And it comes in a zip file, so I'm going to download that. I'll right click, save link as, and I guess it'll go to downloads, that's fine. Okay, we can quit out of this now. One more. Okay, I've downloaded the data file, and now I need to unzip it and to move a few of the actual data files that I'll need into a new folder. I could use that using the command line, but maybe for ease of seeing on the screen, I'll do it graphically. So I'll double click on the home directory, go to the downloads directory. You can see the zip file here. If I double click on that, it'll bring up Archive Manager, and we just want to click the extract button here to extract data out of the zip file, and we can put it in the same location in the downloads directory, that's fine. So we'll click extract and close. Okay, and now you can see that in addition to the original zip file, we've also got another folder now that contains more information. So if we click into here, you can see that there's a bunch of information that you can take a look at, but from within this, there are some data files labeled things like u.data and u.user and u.item. I think those are the three that you need for your homework. You might need more later, but I think that's what you need. So I'm going to copy those into a new directory in my home directory. So to do that, let's see, let's open my home directory back in a new window here, and from within here I'm going to right click and create a folder. Let's just call it Pig. There it is. And now I'm just going to drag these over into the Pig folder like you would on Windows or anything else. There we go. Alright, so that's what I'm going to do using the graphical file browser here. Now I've at least got a place where I can start typing and start working. Okay, now let's open the terminal and do some stuff on the command line. I'm going to quit out of these, and I think you should have a link to the terminal down at the bottom of your screen. If not, you can find it up in Applications, System, XFCE Terminal. I'm going to make this nice and big, just in case you are watching me on a small screen. There, that's pretty big. Okay, now let's change into that directory I made and type a little pig script in. So cd is the command that will change into a new directory, and I want to change into the pig directory. Tab completion is a thing, so if you start typing and you want to complete the rest of a file name or a directory name, you can start with what the letters you have and then hit tab and it will complete that. Unfortunately, there's another directory called pictures, so I need to type basically all of pig in this case. So I can type ls to see what's in that directory, and you can see my 3 data files. Now let's type in one of the small little scripts from the lecture just to see how that works and talk about how you'd run it in this context. Okay, so I'm looking at the video from Module 6 Part 3 and going to type in just one of the short scripts there. I'll do it using the Nano text editor. I think you've got a video about how to use that elsewhere in the module. It's not usually the one I use, but I think it'll be fine. So inside of Nano here, I'm just going to type a few lines that load in data from the u.user data set and then filter it and then store the output. So that looked like this if you're taking a look at that video. First, we're defining a variable a by loading in u.user, and then using pig storage, and we have to put in here inside of single quotes the pipe character as the delimiter, as, and then inside of here we put down the names of the variables and what type they are. So we're going to have a user ID, which is an integer, and age, which is also an integer. And then we're going to define b by filtering a, filter a by user ID less than 8. And I've got to remember my semicolons everywhere, don't I? Okay, and then we're going to store the result. And I'm going to store b into output. Okay, so before we go on, I want to highlight a couple things about this script that are actually slightly different than maybe what he showed you in the video. I think this was B1 that I'm looking at. First of all, this isn't different, but when you load the data file, this script assumes that the data file u.user is in the same directory from which you're running the script. That's because I've just listed the file name here and nothing else. There are some other scripts from the videos where the data files are in a previous directory where you might have to type // before the file name, and that would say go up one directory and then load the data file from there. But in this case, I'm just going to do everything inside of this pig directory, so I'm going to be loading the data file from the same directory where my code is. Okay. The second thing is that in that lecture video from Module 6, Part 3, again, I think he's looking at b1.pig, he has a line that talks about the HDFS file system. That's the distributed file system that you should be able to use when you're using Hadoop. In the setup that I've put onto View2 in the last couple days, that's not going to be operational unless I set some extra permissions for users, which I haven't had a chance to do. So all the stuff that you would do on View2 right now will have to use the local file system, not the HDFS distributed file system. So I'm not making any reference to that file system here. I'm just saying store B into output, which is going to be in the same place where I'm running everything else. Okay, so that's all that I'm going to put into this script file here for pig. Now we'll save it and we'll go back out and run it. Okay, that was an edit where I just made my window a little smaller so you could see the bottom of it. So to quit and save, Control-O writes to a file. I'm going to call this, I think just like he did, pig1. no, let's call it B1. That's what he called it in the lecture, b1.pig. All right, and then Control X to exit. And if I type ls, I've got my file here. Okay, the moment of truth. To see if this runs, I'll type pig, and again, because the way this is set up, right now all you can do is use the local file system, not the HDFS file system. I'll type fig.x local, and then the name of the file, b1.pig. And we'll see what happens. Get a lot of output. Hope for no errors. Let's type ls again. There's an output directory. Good. So that's what we want to see. And just like you did in the video, if we type less output, and from within the output, part M, that's the name of the file. Less is the text viewer program. You can see there's our file with the usernames in it. Okay, so that's how you can download data, write a script, run it, check the output. I believe that there's one more thing you have to do, which is to get rid of the output folder before you run your script again. Otherwise, you'll get an error saying that the output folder is already there. So don't delete your output when you actually want to have it, but the command that will let you delete your output folder would be rm output/star, which will delete everything from within the output folder, and then rmdir output removes the directory itself, and it won't do that. Oh, let's see what happened. I know what happened. There's still some files in there. So the more powerful but dangerous command you can run is rm-rf, which recursively and forcefully deletes the directory. So this will delete output and everything inside of it and not ask you about it. So be real careful when you run that. But that's one command that will delete everything all at once. Okay, now you're ready to run the program again. I hope this was helpful enough. Again, because of this different setup, you're going to have to adapt the code that you've seen in the videos a little bit. And some of those adaptations will be making your own directories, possibly, as we saw before, changing where you refer to those data files, whether they're in the same directory as your code or somewhere else, and then, at least at this point, not using the distributed file system, but just running locally. So you won't be able to play around with the distributed file system unless I make further changes, but you definitely can run your pig scripts, you can do the data analysis, and you can do the homework as far as I understand it. Okay, that's all for now.